L. Ron Hubbard.
That's 100% L. Ron Howard.
It's 100% L. Ron Hubbard.
It's 100% L. Ron Howard. 100%. What you gotta do is break him down. You gotta L. Ron Howard him.
That's not a thing. So much about Scientology except the guy's name. That's the easiest part of it. What was it? Would he invent Scientology like after he directed Backdraft in Apollo 13?
No, that was Ron Howard. I'm talking about L. Ron Howard.
Oh my God.
Guys, can we please stop?
I'm sorry.
Sterling.
This part. That's the question. Is that really the easiest part? His name. I don't know if it is or not. Hey, what's up, Mitch?
Hey, not much. Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
I've been gone for like 9 days.
I know, right? I know.
Yeah, I kind of did it on purpose. I mean, you were about to ask. I know you were about to ask why.
About the POW video that you look like you're shooting. Yeah, what's that about?
No. Everybody knows that I've been taken to a black site and I'm about to be tortured. But they let me do a video with you when I mentioned you. They said, okay, Sterling, you can go on with him.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah. No, actually, since you were going to ask, hey, are you just grabbing your dinner?
Me? No. No, you cut right through my dinner with this timing. So I had an oatmeal.
It was you picked 8:30, dude. Don't be.
I know, but I couldn't get out of work fast enough, and so I just ate an oatmeal chocolate cookie, and it was delicious. So
sounds great. Breakfast of champions, dinner of champions. Okay, so anyway, I know you're just dying to know what the hell this is all about. I can kind of show you. So what I had to do was I promised some of my viewers I would take them on the adventure of recording an audio booth, right? Of recording an audio book. So first thing you have to do when you're doing an audio book is you got to put a totally quiet place together. It doesn't matter. You can have the best mic in the world, but if you don't have a really dead space to record it in, it's just going to be a tragedy, right? Yeah. So I had to improvise a booth because, it easily costs you a couple $1,000s to build a proper audio booth. And for what? One, it's not like I have a couple of grand sitting around. And two, I'm going to use it once. I mean, I doubt that I'm going to make a career out of making audiobooks about myself. Come on. That's definitely a one-time deal. So anyway, I thought, and then I remembered that when my younger son was living with me after high school, he wanted more space in his room. So I had bought this really cool adult platform bed, like aluminum, high-tech. And I remembered on the website that I bought it off. This thing was expensive. It cost like $3,000. So I remember on the website, they showed a picture of it. They had an adult male musician had a workstation underneath the mattress. Like there's enough room under there. So I took this thing out of storage and I built it up. And I think I have it here. Oh, I don't have it.
Are we doing show and tell here? Is that what's happening?
Yeah, here. I'll show. It's really short. I mean, I don't want to.
Oh, knock yourself out. Knock yourself out. I'm
going to try not to do that. I have knocked myself out, and it's not fun. Okay, so here we go. Are you ready? It's just loading. So here's what I did. The first thing I had to do was I had to build a completely, and it sounds good, right?
Decent. Yeah.
And this isn't the mic that I'm going to use for the audiobook, and I'm not all the way in, and it's not closed up. Oh, sorry about that. I got a new computer and it's doing that crazy shit. Here, I finally have, I can finally play with the big boys.
Yeah, I don't think I have that turned on. Yeah, whatever. I don't have that turned on.
I didn't turn it on. It's just some iOS thing.
Oh, so, is it? Oh.
Yeah, let me.
Not for me. There we go. I have to whatever. That's whatever. All right.
Yeah, we'll work on it.
You showing the video?
Yeah. You have to play it.
Oh, I do. Okay, here we go.
I can't because I don't. For some reason, you didn't do this to the team thing. I don't have control.
Here we
I'm
go.
gonna say stop. Okay, stop. Pause it.
Oh God, you got to say it. Oh, wait a second. Right there. Okay.
Yeah, right there. Okay, so you can see the platform bed, right?
Oh, I see what you're talking about now.
Yeah, that's why I wanted you to see the video. It's really hard to envision this if you don't see a picture of it, right? Okay. So this is like an antique serape from the 50s. Man, this thing's probably worth a fortune. I bought it at the Rose Bowl like in the 70s. I've been meaning to cut it up, make it into pillows because it's just so that's the curtain where I get into the thing. Now here, play it. You'll see the big reveal, and then you'll know that I'm not really in a black site. I'm in a spare bedroom.
Yeah. Ow.
You okay?
Yes.
You
okay? My spoon was hot for my tea.
Oh.
Here we go. Let's see what we got here. Let's see what we got.
Okay, here we go. Here we go. This big reveal.
It looks like you made a fortress to sleep in. Oh my goodness, you're joking.
It is. It's like when we were kids that we used to make like blanket forts.
Okay, now I'm gonna have to come over and play in that thing. That's awesome.
Please, you can if you want to record an audiobook or like.
I've got cardboard boxes I can bring too. This will be fun.
Yeah. Oh, perfect. We can make armor out of those and have like a sword fight.
That's good. I like that.
Yeah. Anyway, so
good.
That's the deal. That's where I am. I'm in the sheet fort, and so
okay,
that's another reason. Yeah.
Someone had a question, and it's very appropriate. We just have to bring it up because Reese and I were having this argument the other day about who was it that said blatantly and proudly that they did not like Will Ferrell. Was that you?
100%. As you young people say, and we'll get to that later.
It was Mitch, guys. 100%. It was Mitch.
It was absolutely me. But here's the thing, and I just happened to catch a little bit of that. I don't watch all of the streams of that, but I caught that.
Yeah.
And you guys are going, I'm going, it was me. It was me. It was me. I'm screaming at this computer screen. God damn it. It was me, you people. But here's the thing. I want to clarify the Will Ferrell thing. Okay,
clarify Will Ferrell thing. I'm just pulling up comments as you're doing that are funny.
Yeah, no, but you can't. Okay, but I'll get distracted, so just chill on.
Okay, I won't do it anymore. That's the last one.
So here, but I really want you to know this because I'm going to ask as my friend that you not just say I don't like Will Ferrell, but you say I'm not a Will Ferrell. Mitch isn't a Will Ferrell fan because he thinks every movie Will Ferrell has done would be better if they cast Greg Kinnear instead of him. Okay, so let me just explain this, okay? You can't imagine The Godfather without Marlon Brando and Al Pacino, Godfather 2 without, what's his name? Robert De Niro. You can't, there's all these films that you just can't imagine. You can't imagine Pulp Fiction without John Travolta. You can't imagine because these films were perfect for these actors and those actors were perfect for those films. But for some reason, every time I see a Will Ferrell film, and I don't think he's untalented, and I do think he's funny, but every time I see him in a film, I think, that film would be so much better. So-and-so, you know how sometimes you think that you see a film and you think a different actor could have played the part better. Yeah. I just always think that. And the person I usually think would do it better would be Greg Kinnear.
Okay.
So, yeah. Except in Barbie, I thought Will Ferrell was perfectly cast in Barbie. That's the one.
One of my favorite people pointed out, and it was what was going through my head the second you started on that, was Elf. I'm sorry, but I don't see anyone else in Elf. You arguably,
but Elf. Okay, no, you're right. You're right. Okay, fine.
Because
Elf, nobody else would be. I don't know how to be not totally toxic and say this.
Look,
Elf
you're losing
one of the worst movies ever made. So, yeah, he was perfect in that. Yeah, I tried to watch it. When this Will Ferrell thing first came up, it's now becoming a meme. When it first came up, you guys brought up Elf, or no, I guess it was you. We were on with Rachel, and you brought up Elf, and so I thought, in all fairness, I should go see it. So I tried to watch it. I got about halfway through it, and I was just like, I get it. It's a really cute film. It's kind of a what's the word? It's like a Valentine. That's a badly mixed metaphor because it's a Valentine of a Christmas film, but it's like a Valentine to these really sweet youth films, the films that you watch as a child with the stop motion animation, these very Christmassy films. And I get that. I just thought I can't make a judgment about him from that film. I mean, I will say, he was perfect in it because I wouldn't wish on any other actor to have been in Elf other than Will Ferrell. So I'm good with that. But I thought he was perfect in Barbie. I thought all of his shtick worked and he was great.
Yeah, no, you know what? I let you just go on there because it, trying to stop you from putting your foot further into your mouth was not going to benefit anyone at this point.
No, but listen, if I get drummed out of town on this, I'm cool. At least I stuck to my guns.
Look, and my twin brother Justin does the best Will Ferrell impersonations too. It's hilarious, but
and I'm sure that I would very much like your brother in spite of that.
Yeah, and you know what? I like that we can disagree and laugh about it too. I really do. I look at. I am to you in movies what Justin is to me and wine. Justin couldn't tell the difference between wine and grape juice if he tried. He would drink something out of a box. It drives me insane. But and I know that your taste in movies is impeccable. And I know that Will Ferrell is a little bit more lowbrow, but something about him, maybe it's because it reminds me of my brother. Something about him just is so fun.
And I will tell you, because you and I are friends.
Yes.
I am I'm more receptive to watching Will Ferrell and trying to figure it out, because it's like he's a hugely successful guy. So it's not like, it's not like he's, I don't know.
Atkins in Texas, cotton-headed ninny muggins. Thank you so much. That made me laugh.
Mitch, you're just a cotton-headed ninny muggins. Yeah. Yeah, guilty as charged. That's me.
Well, hey, what were we talking about tonight? I think you had an interesting topic.
I did. Do you really want to get to it now? I'm kind of worried that it might be a little too inflammatory. It's not a bad thing. There's a couple. Can we just do a couple of pieces of one piece of housekeeping first?
Please.
I want people to know, we started this Tuesday night thing with three of us, with Rachel Hastings, doing some, talking about films and doing film trivia and so forth. And Rachel, for the last 2 weeks, I just want you guys to know that here, I got to do one thing here. I want you guys to know she really wanted to join us. She's been super busy working. And I just wanted to tell you, hold on one second. I just have to look for something. Yeah. Okay. So she really wants to be here. She couldn't be here. She just got off of work 10 minutes ago. And I'm going to load up a slide because I want to show you something. And I think this is worth taking a look at. Where the heck did I put it? Hold on. So let me see. 2 nights ago, there it is. Put this slide up.
All right, let's see what
2 nights ago.
Here.
Huh?
Oh, it's not there yet.
Yeah,
it's not there yet.
She sent this to me 2 nights ago, right?
Did you put it up? I don't see it yet.
Yeah, no, it's processing. It'll be there any second.
Okay, good.
Yeah, it's just loading. I don't know why it's taking so long. It's a cell phone picture. It's an iPhone picture, so it can't be that big. But it's processing.
Did you make it into a PDF first?
I did.
And there it is. Let's check this out. Yeah, I do miss
Rachel. Check it out. Check it out.
She is such a bright little light. I mean, just her whole personality and demeanor is fantastic, except for when she uses that voice on her microphone.
I think she's learned her lesson. Okay, so here's Rachel at the 2 nights ago. She was at the what is it? The Kodak Theater shooting the Steamies. She was bragging. She sent me this picture. She says, "Hey, look, I'm on a 25-foot boom arm with a camera at the end." She's shooting. They literally filled. This is early. This is before the show started. They filled the Kodak Theater for the Steamies. These are YouTube awards that they give away.
What?
Maybe they're for other platforms too. Yeah. It's a channel. Apparently, it's the biggest channel on YouTube. She can't be with us, but she can go shoot for the biggest channel on YouTube. Wow. It's maybe I don't even know what it's called. H3H. And
H3H.
The name of the show was H3H Presents the Steamies. I'm happy to announce, Rachel mentioned to me that Mila and what's his name? Help me out here.
Mila Kunis?
Yeah, Mila Kunis and her husband, Ashton Kutcher, received the award for the worst apology video. So yeah, that is the gift.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
Are you? No, I'm not surprised.
No shock there.
Yeah.
But we were talking about this, and she's like, "Yeah, hey, this was like." So the night before she shot this, if she had not left the Sea Org, she would have been shooting that New Year's event. So
yeah, right. That's true.
Yeah, she would have been on a 25-foot jib arm at the shrine, and we were cracking up because then the next night after the event, she's shooting the Steamies at the Kodak, which she said is way more fun than shooting a Scientology
Oh,
event.
you think?
So anyway,
for anyone that ever worked on the Scientology event crew, yes, that's going to be infinitely better. Yeah,
and it pays a lot better too, I'm sure.
It pays a little bit better. Yeah, Scientology could not fill that Kodak theater.
I'll bet they couldn't. You're right.
No, they could not. They can't use it for that reason.
Right.
Oh wait, cool. That is a great picture. I'm going to pop it down now, but I do miss Rachel. I can't wait to have her back on in the new year.
Yeah, I'm sure after Christmas, between Christmas, whatever, she really wants to continue doing this. So yeah, what were we going to talk about? We were going to talk about the generation gap in the ex-Scientology community, but when I realized that sounds like a negative thing, and it's really not meant to be a negative thing. Plus, as I thought about it, how is I got to move my. See, can you see this? I have a bounce card that helps my lighting. No, but
I can't tell.
No, you can't. You can't. It's here somewhere. There it is. See my bounce card. I have such a complicated lighting setup in this space.
Yeah, it's good because it's good that you have a complicated lighting setup, because I heard for audiobooks, if the lighting's not perfect, they're not going to really get.
Yeah. This is true. Yeah. You're getting the right data on that for sure. Yeah. No, it's very important. No, yeah, obviously I moved the lighting in it just for the stream. I decided to stream in the blanket fort and bring some lighting in and stuff like that. So that little, I put that little effects light in the back.
I saw that.
Nothing to do with, and they're cool. Nothing to do with the audiobook. This is just all for show. You're jealous, I think, because I now have a real. This is not decorative. This is like a bunker. This is like the real shit. I'm going to record in here.
Seriously, there was a lot of people in the chat talking about how they would like to set up a play date with you so they can get in your fort. And I love it too.
How come I can't see it? Well, hold on. Let me put the comments up. I want to see this stuff. I think
I tagged some of them. We'll have to get to them at the end. I promise you get to them at the end. Finish your thought, please. I want to hear, because we didn't talk about it. So I like.
No, we didn't. And I think maybe I was just fishing around for an excuse to just hang out and talk. So maybe we just won't even talk about that. But the thing is, I mean, all generations have a generation gap. I mean, I was like, a teenager in the 60s and in my 20s and the 70s. And like back then, we didn't think we were going to live to be 35. I mean, the generation, you know what? I just lost my mic. Can you say something?
No, you sound good.
No. I didn't lose my mic. My just kind of give me a second. I lost my earbuds went dead. Nice, huh? I'm glad this isn't like a date.
Wait, here it is.
I left my wallet at home. Will you pay?
Power lies the paralyzed. Thank you so much. Mitch has his very
okay. Good. Now I can hear you.
That's so funny. Okay. Okay. Oh man, you guys are funny. I don't know if you saw that one. That was pretty funny.
Yes, great record. However, Mitch and Aaron's record is now beyond repair. What is that? Record of what?
I have no clue. I think they were originally talking about Hell Freezes Over, the record from the Eagles, which is considered one of the best mastered albums of all time.
Which is?
Hell Freezes Over.
According to who?
A guy at the grocery store in the checkout line.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah. I sourced my material very well.
Yeah. Well, I know a cab driver who would disagree.
Okay. But
I know a cab driver.
Can I say on my system, the opening to Hotel California on that album, whether on vinyl or hi-fi, is unreal.
Bring it over. I have a digital audio player
you told me about that one. Yeah, a DAC.
Remember those? Remember the what are those? That brand of British speakers that Scientology uses in the film rooms?
No, which one?
Oh,
not Bowers Wilkins, right?
No. They're British. They're the ones in the film rooms, and Miscavige would only have. It's the brand that he uses. Well, I have. That's what I have in my living room. I have a set of the film room speakers. It's pretty cool.
Tell me the brand. I'd be interested to know. But okay, generational gap. What did you mean by that? I want to know.
That's interesting that you would ask. That makes me wonder if this is something that you never really had to consider growing up in the Sea Org, and it quite possibly.
Is it Bang Olufsen?
No. It's they're very obscure, hand built. They're there's two speakers that are used for studio monitors in all major studios. I got to turn that shit off. There's two speakers that are, what is the name of them? I almost want to run in my living room. I don't know why. Like PES, like it's three initials, and they pair them up with Bryston amps. Like I have a subwoofer that has a 100-watt Bryston amp built into it.
Right.
And, Bryston is one of the best amp companies in the world. No, not KRK. I just don't know why I can't remember. So anyway, a generation gap is when you have a generation like now when I was a kid, we were baby boomers, and it's when that generation butts up against the generation ahead of it, the older generation, in terms of in terms of pushing
Logan.
No, pushing against. Can you want me to run and just tell you? Just give me a second.
No, what we'll do is when I'm going to go tag some questions near the end.
Yeah, I'll go do it.
You go do it.
Yeah.
So go ahead with what you're saying.
Because it's just distracting. So you get when I was in my generation was coming of age, we were faced with the Vietnam War. We were faced with total nuclear annihilation from the Soviet Union. We were faced with political strife. Think about the Democratic Convention of 1968. I was 18 years old. They made a movie about it. The what's his name? The Chicago 7, the trial. Mm-hmm. The Chicago Convention in 1968. The Democratic Convention. The Democrats tend to be more liberal, more progressive. But it became a riot because kids went there, young people went there, the yuppies and the hippies, and they all, not the yuppies, but they were, I forget what they were called, and they protested against the war, and there was violent riots, and there's a movie about it called Medium Cool, a very, very good film. So we had all these really radical things, and that was like the generational break. Like, things when my generation hit, many of the cultural aspects of generation stopped.
Right.
Like I didn't listen to Frank Sinatra. I didn't, that wasn't my thing, but my kids grew up on the Beatles. So we were like the first generation that a lot of our stuff kept carrying forward. Like we were the computer generation. We were, a lot of that music, like when my younger son was just out of high school, his girlfriend, we were going to play some music, and she took my player, right? And I said, "Here, you pick something." That little digital player I have.
Yeah.
And she picked like Neil Young and Lou Reed and all this stuff I was in high school. This was like the music we listened to when I was her age. You get what I'm saying? So
yeah.
So I've always been kind of like a little bit more oblivious to the idea of a generational change, because so much of our stuff, in my generation stuff, in terms of fashion and music and progressive politics and all that kind of stuff, it sort of was picked up by the next generation. But today, because of social media, we're starting to have this division, this fractured division starting to happen again, where, we look at stuff on social media and we're like, what are these kids doing, man? Like, can I watch one more shovel dance? But they love it. And like, you have TikTok, which, many of us have said it's definitely for younger people. So that's what I mean by generation, by the gap.
Generational gap.
Yeah.
Okay. But you would consider the gap between you and I a generational gap.
Yeah, I think I'm older than your dad.
Yeah.
What year was Foster born?
52.
Yeah, I was born in 49, so I was older than him. Although I didn't think I was when I met him.
Okay.
But that's just me. I just thought I was younger than everybody because I acted it. But but I'm sorry. I don't think it's a negative thing, but I was really starting to pick up on it. But I don't think you and I have that kind of gap. I think there's a lot of people that don't. But then I think you're kind of unique. I think you've managed to avoid a lot of the pitfalls, and I mean that as a compliment. But I really because. I think you're much more accepting because I see you on social media and YouTube. The way you interact with different people of different ages, you don't interact any differently. You don't think like, oh, I got to talk to some fucking boomers now or whatever.
Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you. I'll take that. I'll take that as a compliment. I think I just find people fascinating. In almost all cases, I think people are fascinating. They all have some uniqueness. They're all a fingerprint. No one's the same. And, that doesn't mean I like everybody. I don't. I really don't. There's some people that I am not giant fans of, but I do find people fascinating. So, I mean, I'll still watch them too. Even if I don't like them, I'll still watch because I'm interested in how they talk, what they're talking about, how they view the same things that I saw. But I also am accepting of, provided the facts are at least somewhat accurate, that's your experience and you have a right to have that experience. So it's different.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I don't think I'm saying otherwise
No, you're definitely not. No, you're not. I was just kind of elaborating on that.
But yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, please go. That was it.
Oh, okay. I think when you over-identify, like when I was in high school and college, we so identified with our time that everybody else could just F off. We were like it. We thought we needed to blaze a trail towards some more perfect future. Right. It's kind of like young people today thinking that, we ruined the environment or something, that we did something to to steal their tomorrow kind of thing. But when in fact, we're all doing kind of the best that we can with what we have. So, I mean, I blame a lot of it on marketers because all of these generations, the demarcations, I mean, it's a real thing. You can see shifts every 30 years or whatever it is. But calling people boomers and Gen Xers and millennials and Generation Z and whatever it is, it's a way of artificially creating segmented demographics so that you can market to that segment. The purpose of it is to sell stuff. And that's what really bugs me about these generation gaps, because they're promoted and kind of pushed because each one needs us, and there are, let's face it, people my generation are maybe buying more like incontinence diapers, right? Than other generations. So, there are, and I'm joking about that, but there are things that come with age, but they're also very, very segmented on purpose by the advertising industry.
And was that, no, I get that. Was that out of curiosity, since we're somewhat on the subject of Scientology, and when you were doing the films in Scientology, you also did promotional videos. Was that something that was taken into consideration quite a bit? The demographics of the generations?
Not so much as I hate saying that's a great question. Yeah. Because all questions are great questions. And I think that people say, hey, that's a great question, because they're trying to buy a minute so they can come up with an answer. But no, that really is a great question, because interestingly enough, of course, you would always identify your market, your public, and then you would make whatever product you're trying to sell in their likeness, or you would make it look like the thing that they desire. Like, you're going to put a handsome guy on a Porsche and have him pick up a beautiful girl, because you're either selling to those people or you're selling to people who want to have that. So then they think that by possessing the car, they can have that. It's just all positioning. In the case of Scientology, they spent a lot of time, quote unquote. They don't. They convince themselves that they spend a lot of time understanding their public. You remember that term. You worked in marketing. Yeah. Yep. So the term public. Public means your public for a thing is the group of people that will be the most receptive to your message, right? Yeah. that's your public. And so in Scientology, supposedly they did research, but they don't know how. I've seen all the research binders. Unless they hired somebody from the outside, the stuff they do on the inside is so biased that it's useless.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I can give you examples, like real world examples of this. So they had this demographic that it breaks down like this: slightly more men are into Dianetics, slightly more women are into Scientology. They're 18 to 34. They're college educated. They have some money. Well, that's who they would like to be into it. But so they would sort of identify that as the public. And then if we're making a film, we would try to fit that to it. If a character is named as an old man or a young boy, like would be in some films, this character is a 15-year-old boy, this character is an elderly woman, then of course you would cast that. But if it's just like a married couple or this or that, you sort of work it into that, whatever it is, that thing, that public that you were trying to, connect with.
Right.
But even more, but what's really disturbing was the attempt to use ethnicity to incorporate to make Scientology materials. Like if you notice, there's a lot of non-white people. If you look at the ads that we would do for this quote unquote Super Bowl ads, there's a lot of people that are like, they're like multiracial and they're Asian and they're really cool and hip and they have tattoos and they have, we were a little more conservative on training films than in TV ads. And that is not what Scientology looks like. So that what they're appealing towards and what they look like are two different things.
Absolutely. Totally different. Yeah.
I think I answered that question.
Yeah, no, you did answer that question. You really did. But it is, I was in marketing and they did used to get the surveys coming back in. I mean, I wasn't, I was in design, so I wasn't privy to that information, but I always wondered, what was actually happening with marketing, because I was aware when I was there that Scientology just was not a household name anywhere. And it's fun to ask people.
Well, a couple of blocks around the blue building.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
it's fun to ask people that were there now if they had any clue of how small Scientology was, and I kind of did, but by accident, because you are in a bubble essentially, and it's very hard to see the outside. You're not watching TV. Most of your information is, Tom Cruise is a Scientologist, so everyone must know and love Scientology. Which
if the biggest movie star in the world, is a Scientologist, then it must be huge.
Yeah, right. Now imagine he leaves and John Travolta leaves. They've really got no one after that. But I got my Class A license when I worked at Golden Air Productions when I was in the trees department.
Right.
And so I was able to drive.
What is that? 3-axle? What is that? That's like
so that's 3-axle. It's also a weight rating. You get your air brakes, you get your tanker passenger certifications as well. So
now you're just bragging.
I know, now I am just bragging. And so I was lucky because I actually got the job one time with Jesse Radstrom to drive from Oxnard, California, pick up the event equipment and drive it to Tampa, Ruth Eckerd Hall, for an event.
Oh, that sounds like fun.
Yeah, we did it in 48 hours, which is actually illegal because you're supposed to rest a certain amount of time.
Right.
But and we of course rest. We would swap off driving, and we had a DVD player in the back, and we brought movies with us. We'd watch movies because otherwise we wouldn't get a chance to do that. Right. But we're driving across the entire United States, and one of the best parts of that was obviously stopping for dinner and having like dinner at Chili's. I'll never forget. It was my first time eating at Chili's, and I was just like, I was so stoked. It was like the best food I'd ever had.
That's some gourmet food after.
Oh, and it was actually on the campus at LSU, and I have never seen so many beautiful women in my life. I was just like,
Southern girls, man.
But what was so obvious to me is from the time I left Oxnard to the time I arrived in Tampa, I did not see one thing about Scientology, not one billboard, not one mention. We listened to the radio when we were driving, nothing. It was dead when it came to Scientology. And I really expected there to be more to see. I thought there would be billboards on the side of the freeway. I thought as we drove through major cities, we would see some mention of it, but nope.
Right.
Nothing. Just crickets. And so that was like, I was like, oh, that's interesting. You know, I kind of always knew. Look, I think when a group hypes up a little bit too much about their celebrities and when they get super excited when they're on a national network or when they get one commercial, I think they're trying a little too hard. And I think that's always an indicator for me that they're not really legitimate, but they're trying to be. Well, and I think Scientology was always that.
Yep. There's more Christians than anything else in the world. And I can't remember the last time I saw an ad for any Christianity. The Mormons, they did a thing for a while. But yeah, I mean, I kind of knew it was BS just because I'd run the numbers in my head. Like if you run the numbers using even stupid math, like, you know, like 6-year-old math on clearing the planet, you know, that it's like there's more people being born every second that they could clear through an org anywhere. Yeah. And even if you're using this metric, I've heard some people say, well, it really just means clear half the people on the planet and you have a cleared planet. The numbers are insane. So I used to think about that a lot. I used to think, well, I mean, you know, because you're deluded, you're brainwashed, you think, well, just take it as a metaphorical thing. Just that you're really trying to make the world better. And then, of course, eventually you realize that that's what you're trying to do, but that's not what they're trying to do. But I remember the first time I made that orientation film, that really ridiculous film, and
that I was in.
Yeah, you were in the first one though. You didn't make the second one. Sorry.
Oh no, I did not. Oh, I wish I could see the second one.
Yeah, me too. I wish, you know, it was a public film and people can go into the, you know, into the test center or into an org, and you can go into Division 6 and just watch it. And they're, you know, you just give them a fake everything, and they're not going to, you know, they'll let you out of there. They're not going to, I guess, I don't know. Maybe they just try to keep people now and sell them shit. But the point is, I remember making that film. There's this one line, and it talks about Scientology, and will you join Scientology? Blah 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 blah. And there are millions of Scientologists to be your friends. Like it literally says to this day in that film that there are millions of Scientologists to be your friends. And of course, they're not going to be your friends because they're going to rat you out at the first sign of trouble. And they're going to believe that they're helping you, which is the sick part. If you go to them and say you're a friend, I'm having doubts about my marriage or my job or whatever, and I just want to talk to somebody, and then they're going to write a report and turn it in, right? Because they think that's the best thing for you, is for you to then turn whatever your problem is to turn it over to the authority of an organization.
Yeah.
Which is absolutely not the case. So I think I kind of knew, because some of the numbers I was exposed to were so hyperbolic.
Yeah.
You know, they were just so huge.
Well, and while you're on that point, especially about the turning people in Scientology, it's something that gets touched upon quite a bit when we talk about particularly SA and child predators and such things. It would not be unfactual to say that most Scientologists, when they come across that sort of behavior and write a report, they truly believe in their heads that they're doing that person a solid by not reporting them to the authorities, because they truly believe that there's no technology out there to help them, and only Scientology can. They actually think they're doing someone a favor and really helping out, which is what the brainwashing is. Now, OSA does not think that, and they know it's a problem, and they just cover it up. So there's those two different parts of that particular scenario. But Scientologists really do believe that reporting something like that to authorities would be more damaging to everyone involved than just letting the internal organization know. And it sounds absurd, but it is the truth. That is how they think about it. It's crazy.
Right. Well, I'll give you, if I may, what you're saying in my experience is 100% correct. I would like to give you a slightly different interpretation on the OSA side.
Knock yourself out.
Because they believe that too. They 100% absolutely believe that. But what they also believe is that the reason that the problem happened, let's take Danny Masterson.
Yeah.
The reason that the problem happened is somebody screwed up. They didn't fix the problem in an auditing session. They didn't fix the problem PR-wise using Scientology technology. And so now they have to step in and they have to protect the organization. But they believe it too, Sterling. I'm absolutely convinced that those agents at OSA, those operatives, they're not thinking, oh yeah, we're covering up crimes. They're thinking, no, because you remember in Scientology, if it doesn't work, it's because you did it wrong. Remember?
It's the ultimate scapegoat. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Standard tech works standardly 100% of the time if
Yeah.
you do it standardly, right? That is that. So the thing is that people screwed up and they didn't do it standardly and they let Danny Masterson slip by. Now we have to go in and clean up their mess, but we can't let the world at large think that we protect, these kinds of criminals. But that is what we're doing, but
Yeah.
we can't have anybody know that this is going on. I mean, I made 2 films that trained Scientology auditors, and everybody's supposed to do auditor training, whether you're going to do that in life. I mean, on every check sheet, the sheets that guide you through a course, it says that the data contained in that course will train you. It's for training you to be a professional auditor or to do better in life, right?
Right.
So all Scientologists are supposed to do these. And there was the film we did with Jason Begay, which I've spoken to people about. I wrote about it in my book, which you read, right? About the thing.
I'm almost done with it. Not done yet.
That's fine. Just take your time. Just don't forget to leave an honest review on Amazon that you loved it. No, but anyway, no, but there is this film. I mean, this character, he's given an auditing session, and he gives up that he drugged his best friend's girlfriend and raped her. And this guy, he gets it handled with an auditing session. And then he says at the end, I'm going to go and find that girl and make sure she gets some Scientology auditing. So they're basically teaching people that Scientology alone has the ability to reform the criminal and heal the victim. Yep. But because it doesn't work, then OSA needs to step in. But OSA's viewpoint is that somebody didn't do it right.
Yeah, from the very,
Yeah, but there's no right way to do it because the shit just doesn't work to begin with. So it's you can be gaslit into believing that it works, but that's
right. Absolutely. No, I agree. But I think, on the OSA part of that, and the one thing I do, why we do get along, Mitch, is because we can differ in our opinions and it doesn't really affect that. And I also think I may be one of the few people that really find your particular point of view fascinating because there's no other like it right now.
You and my other 4 subscribers.
You and all 16 of your subscribers.
Yeah.
But you asked for that. So
apparently I asked for everything I get on YouTube.
But anyways, I do question though, because I think in any organization, and I've said a number of times that, most Scientologists you meet are genuinely good people that really believe they're going to help. I think even more so that of Sea Org members, they know they're taking a pay cut, for lack of a better word. They know that they're donating their time. They know they're there to truly try and help.
Right.
But every organization has bad people that get in there, that do really bad things, that take advantage of the loopholes inside that organization to do really bad things. And I just think in OSA, some of those exist.
Yeah. I just realized, sorry, Sterling, finish your thought.
No, I think it exists. I think you have and I keep bringing up these names. I think you have your Mike Sutters, your Warren McShanes, your Marty Rathbuns that really aren't just believers. They're inherently evil people.
Yeah, well, Marty is a cut above those other 2 guys.
Marty is a cut above. I mean, he's going to go down in, he's going to go down in history for that. But it's what I think about that. I truly believe, and I also believe that, I like to lay the blame at David Miscavige's feet a lot. He is the one that created the culture at the int base that then trickled down to all the other Scientology facilities. He's mean, he's nasty, he's cold-hearted, he's cutthroat. But I think a lot of people did stuff on their own too. I don't believe he gets every bit of information. I think there's people that go, I got it. Here's how I'm going to act. And they go off and do their own shtick. Right. And I think it takes a certain personality to be able to inflict that sort of pain on other people. So I don't totally blame, David Miscavige for everything, though he is an obnoxious prick. He did start the culture, but there's also individual people in Scientology that are just plain evil. There's no question about that.
Yeah, he might have opened the door, but they ran through it.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So listen, Sterling, I hope you don't disagree with what I'm about to say, but listening to you, I realize we actually don't disagree. You and I right now, this whole thing where I said the thing about OSA and they believe, and you're like, blah, blah, blah. Everybody believes, but OSA. We're both generalizing. Okay. In reality, I agree with you 100%. There are people in OSA and otherwise, but especially in OSA, that are genuinely evil people. And if they were in Scientology, they'd look for some other way to take their bullshit out on people. So I don't disagree with you at all. There definitely are those people. I'm just saying that there's not some OSA policy that says, oh, by the way, this is where we stop the bullshit about believing it. They're just as deluded as everybody else. And that's not what do you call it? The word you used? It's not trying to justify them or excuse them at all. Right. You know, if you do some horrible thing because, you believe, you engaged in human sacrifice because you believe that that's what God really wanted you to do. That's no excuse.
Right.
It's not. I mean, you still murdered somebody.
Yes.
And defiled their remains. So, but yeah, there's plenty of evil people. You named 3 of them, but I was there longer and I could name more. Lisa Shore.
I don't doubt you could.
Jenny Linson.
I think I've just used my Jenny Linson cards. People are going to begin to think that I just hate her. Actually, I'm sorry, I do just hate her. No, I'm remembering the other ones. That's all. A lot of this gets blocked out. The trauma does get blocked out. So as I talk more, I mean, I got to say, like, even in regards to Marty Rathbun, I would tell you, I didn't like Marty. I always call him Marty McShan, like Marty McFly. Warren.
McShane.
Warren McShan was a cold human being. Like nothing like I've ever seen. Like I would say cold, maybe not as bad as Marty, but colder than Marty. That dude was, gave me the creeps.
But you knew his kids. You knew Warren's kids. You probably grew up with them, right?
I knew Sean. Sean McShan was a great
his sister. What was her name?
Carly McShan.
Yeah, Carly. Yeah, they were nice people.
Yeah,
his kids were really nice.
Marcy McShan was a sweetheart.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. When I went up, she used to be Mike's assistant.
That's right. She was
assistant. Yeah,
that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah. No, she was nice. I guess it was because of Marcy. Anyway, now we're just talking about old.
Now we're just going. Well, you know what we're gonna do? Let's hop on because we got some great questions and things to comment on. We just went off on, and I enjoyed this because I enjoy talking to you about these particular personality traits and things that you and I experienced working there, either trying to do the jobs we had. I mean, again, guys, let me make this clear. The most people, the most entities, the most living creatures I ever managed were 3 peacocks and about 12 koi fish. So,
you know what happened to the peacocks, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Right. What happened to the peacocks?
No, wait. What? Something happened to them?
Yeah,
Buster ate a couple of them.
What's that?
Are you talking about Buster eating a couple of them?
Yeah, Miscavige's dog.
Yeah.
He
would tear them up. Yeah, shred them.
Yeah. Just like like I said in my book, mean dog owners beget mean dogs.
Yes.
And Miscavige is a mean dog owner, and his dogs are a nightmare, and his human dogs are a nightmare. You mentioned some of them.
Yes. Yeah. Both.
Yeah, but before we jump off into questions, to clarify, we can talk about this some other time.
Yeah.
But I was noticing in the ex-Scientology community, there's so much identification with one's experience, right? In other words, no, I'm sorry. There's so much identification with how one got into Scientology. It's a gap that's like that's almost, it's kind of like a generation gap. You have, born-ins and second gens, and then you have people like me who were like, I was 23-year-old, and I was addicted to heroin. I dropped out of film school, and I had this crazy experience growing up. But somehow our trauma gets measured against how we got in. Well, it wasn't, my parents were blah, 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 and I was and this is all true. Like, all the facts are true, whether you grew up in Scientology or whether you stumbled into it or were tricked into it or whatever it was. But when you overemphasize it, and sometimes I see it so overemphasized, and it becomes a coalescing force. In other words, people coalesce against their imagined brand of trauma, right? That it starts creating the segmentation that I don't think is good for people's mental health. I don't think it promotes healing. I guess because I'm from the 60s, I'm like, can't we all just be friends? So, okay, we can do questions now. I've said
by the way, I actually understood what you were saying, and it's something that I would love to cover in another live with you.
Okay, it's what we were supposed to do in this one.
Well, I had an interesting thing happen, and I'm just going to say, where I had a close friend of mine doing a live, and I am so acutely aware, guys, that memory is not perfect. And so I had a friend mention something about two people at a particular location. Now, because those two people left Scientology a long, long time ago, and I was one of the few people that had contact with them, I spent quite a bit of time with them when I was traveling overseas. And so I kind of knew their story better than most people.
Right.
Well, my friend had mentioned that they were at a particular location, and he remembered them being there at a certain time. And it was part of the story he was telling.
Right.
And so I texted him after. I said, by the way, I don't think those two ladies were at that location. And he goes, I think they were. And he called my brother Justin. And my brother Justin said, no, Sterling, I think they were. They were only there for a tiny bit, but I remember them being there at the Int Ranch. And I was like, I don't think so. And so I texted them. And the next morning, I got the text back saying, no, we were definitely never there. Now, in between that night and the text the next morning, I even started to question my own memory, going, maybe they were there, but just for a brief moment in time, and I forgot. And it was so interesting that I was almost convinced that my memory was wrong, and that my brother and my good friend had a memory that was actually seemed completely legitimate. I mean, it would make sense that they were there. Everything about it could be that way. I even mentioned it to my mom tonight, and she said, no, they were there.
Wow.
And I'm like, no, they weren't. And I just find that fascinating. You can completely put together the scenario of something and it not be completely accurate. The story he was telling was completely accurate, and it was a great story, and it was a great kind of look into something that had to do with this particular person at the time. Anyways, my point is, and was why I say it all the time, and I'm always open to being corrected about it, because I want to be as accurate as possible. But I do know the human mind, by default, adds parts of memories in to what you're describing or your memory based on your preferences. It's in the book that I talk about every single time and every live I do. One of my favorite books by Leonard Moldenov. I'll put a link to it again at some point. But such a good book.
Yeah, I need to read that book.
Yeah,
and you need to read the Psychopath Next Door, because you will look in the back of the book for David Miscavige's name, because when you read it, you will be saying, "Oh, come on, this book is about David Miscavige." Like, I'm not even joking. I was like,
I got to check it out for sure.
I was looking in the back,
Yeah.
like, no, this guy had to know. He had to. It's crazy. I mean, it is literally about him in every possible way. Yeah, listen, one of the crazy things about Scientology, it starts with Dianetics, is this idea of the time track, is this idea that your memory is this perfectly ordered thing and it never stops recording and everything is there, and that is such a bunch of BS. I know when I was writing a book, I had to very, very, very much focus on incidents and events, and I had a pretty good handle on things, and I'm like, I'm a little fuzzy on this. And then I reached out, I spoke to a lot of people, and it was like, oh, this goes here and that goes there. That never happened. So it's like, but I was convinced. I just didn't want to put it in a book.
Yeah.
So
I know what you mean.
Yeah. So you really kind of reach out.
No, it is fascinating. Again, it doesn't always take away from the story or the scenario you're explaining, but it is just interesting. It's interesting. Let's pop up some questions. Let's acknowledge some people that are in the chat here. Here we go, guys. Okay, this was great. I think I showed this already. Thank you again, Aaron G. Did we ever determine if it was Mitch who didn't care for Will Ferrell? I think that's abundantly clear at this point.
Yeah, and you got $5 for that. You own.
Yeah. So, Nancy New, thank you so much. This was at Gene Strong, but Mike Brown has twins too. So when we started this thing, I mentioned my twin Mitch, and then I think, Aaron is a twin. And so people just started going on a roll about how twins must be somewhat of a Scientology thing. I don't know if that's the case, but it is interesting.
No, there's you and Aaron are the only twins. Oh no, Crystal.
Oh, that's right. Crystal, but she wasn't there, right?
No. Her sister was at PAC.
Okay.
But it was freaky because so many people from Gold would go to PAC.
Okay.
And they'd bump into her and walk up to her and they would just start talking.
Right.
To her.
I remember that now. I remember hearing about that.
They were
I remember hearing about that.
They were freaky. So,
okay. Someone agreed with you here. Amy 27. I don't know how to say that. Will Ferrell grosses me out and he always plays the same character. I think that's
that would be Team Mitch. Hey, you need to subscribe to my channel, dude, because you're going to get a lot more of that, that really good stuff. So, by the way, you need to do the little thing you're supposed to do at the beginning. If you're not subscribed to Mitch's channel, go over there right now and join the other 14 people that agree with all of his obscure BS.
No, see, I like to wait to the end to see how you did, and then I'll decide at that point whether I'm going to promote you or not.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Two things, guys. Hey, please, if you haven't already, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. If you're not subscribed to Mitch already, pop on over there. What is the name of your channel again, Mitch?
Oh, it's let me see. No, it's Scientology the Big Lie.
Yes.
And email Scientology the Big Lie at, it's actually with dashes between each word. And you could also reach me at Scientology the Big Lie, all one word, at gmail.com if you have any questions. If you wanted to just tell me to F off, that you think I'm the most narcissistic person in the world, or that I shouldn't be on YouTube because I wasn't in the Sea Org and I was paid a lot of money, or any kind of BS like that, be sure and send me an email.
All right. Don't send an email, guys. Okay, here we go. So, while we were talking, Mitch, I don't know if you saw in the chat, people started discussing who would play you and who would play me. I don't know why that started particularly, but it was kind of funny. So here's the first one of that. I think
Frank Langella. I was going to say Frank Langella. It's weird. I get that all the time. When Frank Langella was younger and playing vampires, and he was a terribly handsome man, we looked nothing alike. But as we aged and we lost our hair and so forth, we actually started looking. So yeah, I'd be all for Frank Langella. Plus, he's just an amazing actor. He's just like.
All right, Gene Strong had another one. Gene Strong. I think Leonard Nimoy could have played Mitch Brisker when he was younger and alive. True.
Can I still
all right. That Curious Cat. This is the wonderful lady that I did an interview with. I believe it was Saturday morning.
Oh,
great questions. Very intellectual. Complete delight to speak to. We're going to continue doing some stuff at the beginning of the new year. But she said, what timing to wake up in the middle of the night? Hiya, Sterling and Mitch. Good call with Elf. Yes, I agree. I just watched Die Hard 1 and 2. She's a woman after my own heart. Great Christmas movies. Yes, they are. I agree.
I'm a little confused on which was the good call on Elf.
Me. I'm guaranteeing you she was not talking about you. Yeah. I'm just going to guess.
Well, Sterling, what did they say? Pride cometh before the fall. So we'll see how that one comes down.
All right. Jackson. And I only ever called him Jackson.
Yeah, me too. I was confused.
Who called him Gary?
I never knew that was his real name until you did, when we both tuned into YouTube and heard him go, well, Jackson was my code name.
Yeah, no, I always knew him as Jackson, and it was just the coolest name ever. But hey,
he was a cool dude. He was just like a bear. He was actually, for all of his brainwash bullshit that he did, he's the first one to admit it. He was a great guy.
Yes, hands down, absolutely wonderful person. All right, I think this one's for you, OBG Foster. Question: what album was the first to be released on CD? I don't know.
No, I don't. You're the music guy.
No, no, I'm not.
That's a great question. I know, but
We're
I
gonna
had
have to
to
look
say
that up.
that because
Yeah.
that's a
Hey,
really good question.
this one's another good one from OBG Foster. If nobody in power was assassinated while you were a child, you're not one of the cool kids.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think you're talking about presidential assassinations. Oh, I remember the day that it happened. I was in art class. It was I forget the time, but I have a picture of the clock, and it was like literally they came into class. They came into class and they said the president's been shot. The
And we're
president.
talking about JFK, obviously.
Yeah. 1963, October.
No,
I think
November.
It was October. November. Yeah.
November.
Right.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of all the movies, and I've read all the books on that subject.
Have you read? Oh, but have you read Tom DeLillo, who's one of the greatest fiction writers of our era? He wrote the book White Noise that was recently made into a movie that was butchered. Tom DeLillo wrote a book called Libra because Lee Harvey Oswald was a Libra. Tom DeLillo is the most award-winning, celebrated writer of the 20th century, American writer. He's the only American writer that wins all of these Irish writing awards, and the Irish think Americans are horrible writers. But Tom DeLillo is really a significant author, and one of the books he wrote is called Libra. Lee Harvey Oswald was a Libra, and it's basically a historical fiction about the Kennedy assassination.
Interesting.
But when you read it, there's so much interesting conjecture in it. When you finish reading Libra, you're going to think, "Oh, I'll bet that's what actually happened."
Ooh, I'm a student of this.
And plus, it's all about, spoiler alert. The first chapter, you're going to be reading about a CIA section chief who's really pissed off about losing his land in Cuba.
Interesting. I got to check that out then. I don't read fiction, but that's in my wheelhouse.
No, this is historical fiction. You'll dig it. Plus, it's got so many facts in it about Lee Harvey Oswald and the Kennedy assassination that we just don't know, but they're facts. You can look, like, I didn't know, this is weird, but I didn't know Lee Harvey Oswald was a Libra. Okay, wow. Important fact. But and like his wife, whatever her name was, and the time he spent in Russia, and there's a lot of very carefully detailed research details.
His wife was named Marina Oswald.
Yeah, Marina Oswald, and turned into a this kind of alternate fiction that makes it you think it's as plausible as any other story.
Right.
It's really good.
Awesome. That actually sounds interesting. I got to check that out. Duchess Diana. Question: how old are you, Mitch?
74.
Okay, you do not look 74. There were many selections for who people thought could play me. Pee Wee Herman was on the top of that list. Martin Short was there. Danny DeVito was there. But I'm just going to go with Gene Strong. Rob Lowe could play Sterling. Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate that. I
think Rob Lowe's a good. If I was producing or directing the film, I would go with Rob Lowe, because usually what we do is we look at the person. This is sort of director's viewpoint. We look at the person and then we say, somebody with that basic body type, but who's about 10 times better looking. That's usually how we do it.
That works. Cindy Taylor, love Mitch's Cave. So do I. It's awesome. It really is good.
Yeah, I'm going to be working out in here this
is bomb shelter right there. He was a kid that grew up in the Cold War. Okay. That Curious Cat's back again. Question: do you think current Scientologists are aware of the low numbers, or do they believe DM's false numbers, given the virtually empty orgs? They'd have to know, right? That's a good question.
Well, if you think about it, what do you think, Sterling?
I think that they notice it, but when you hear about all the expansion that's happening at the events all over the world, you sort of begin to have delusions of grandeur that we're about there. We're just about to take off. I know we're going through a little slow point here, but we're about to get there and just obliterate the planet. But that's been the same thing for 20, 30 years.
I think absolutely. I mean, it's just, if I could just add something to
please,
that beautiful way that you put that, because that is absolutely how I see it. If you think about it, so you have these concentrations of Scientologists, like in LA, in Clearwater, even in San Francisco. No, not San Francisco anymore. Jeff Levin was just up there and gave us a report on just how abysmal it is there. But you do have these centers. So to those people, they're seeing crowds, like they're seeing 4,000 people show up at the shrine, and they're hearing loud thunderous applause, and then they're seeing this brainwashing film on the screen. So they really are believing it. And I think I think Catherine Olson is a really good one to speak to this, because she was a Sea Org member. You know who she is. You've met her. Have you met Catherine?
No, I've not.
We should do something with her. Catherine was she was literally helped by the Aftermath Foundation. Claire and Mark got her out.
Oh, wow.
Got her a ticket, got her a car, got her a job. We've become friends. She lives in Oregon now. She's engaged to a guy, an old friend of hers from high school, who helped get her out, who was never a Scientologist, who she's now engaged to. Wow. She's a beautiful person. It's a beautiful story.
So it's a happy ending, which is awesome.
Yeah, it's an amazing ending. She's now working towards, she's launching a career in photography. She used to work in middle management at the HGB.
Okay.
And she was sent to Ohio. She escaped from Ohio, from the org there. She was sent as a Sea Org member she was one of those Sea Org members that got sent to a class 5 org, which is ideal org, but it's one of these bread and butter churches where they sell services and stuff, and they don't have enough staff. So Miscavige started kind of plucking Sea Org members from everywhere and shoving them in there. And when the pandemic hit, she was able to, because she was working in marketing, she had a phone. People were very distracted and leaving each other alone. She was able to get the hell out of there during the pandemic. But she tells a real story about how, she's at Ohio, and it's totally obvious that there's nobody there.
Yeah.
But at all these local orgs, they think it's them. They think they're the only one, and they think they're doing something wrong because they see the events and they hear the stories. They think everything else is great everywhere else. So you have this whole group of people, because nobody talks to each other in Scientology. Right. Nobody shares that kind of information. They all think it's just them. It's really scary.
It's more compartmentalized information, which Scientology is notorious and very good at. Yeah, but I agree. I totally agree. Free Xenu Project of Farsec. Question, Mitch, you bring a good point with the numbers. Yeah, he did, by the way. What did you think about the claims of over $1 billion that Tom Cruise personally introduced to Scientology? Both Mitch and Sterling, but Mitch, please go ahead first.
No, you first.
It didn't really occur to me what that meant, but I kind of figured it just had to do with that people knew he was a Scientologist and they watched movies, and that many people saw it, just knew he was a Scientologist. But I also knew that he was making a complete idiot of himself wherever he was going at that particular moment in time.
Yeah.
So, that was what I thought about it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same here. I mean, if you'd heard of Tom Cruise, and who hasn't, who was it? John Lennon said we're bigger than Jesus. He shouldn't have said it, because he got in a lot of trouble. But the fact of the matter is, the Beatles were bigger than Jesus. Far more people around the world had heard of the Beatles than ever heard of Jesus. During Jesus' life, he was not that big time of a guy. But that was a rabbit hole. Sorry, I'm not. To my Christian friends, I'm sorry about that. But it was kind of like, if you've heard of Tom Cruise, you've probably heard that he's a Scientologist. Therefore, Tom Cruise, Scientology, boom.
Yeah.
You've just been introduced.
That was the math they did.
Yeah, but I have to say, Tom, and I'm not defending Tom, because Tom, he mirrors Dave, Tom and Dave and Tom. Dave becomes super celebrity. Tom becomes, abusive cult leader. So, they dress the same. They fly in the same jet, except Tom really got this is a whole nother stream if you want to do it sometime. But, Tom's kind of gotten the bad end of the stick, because, Dave's destroyed all of his marriages, estranged him from all of his children, except the 2 adopted ones that are trapped in the cult. And he still calls Miscavige like his best friend and the greatest man on earth. But that is one brainwashed MFer. Okay, I'm sorry.
Right.
That's not to excuse him from all the abusive stuff that he's been involved in. But he wasn't always making a fool of himself everywhere. I mean, 2004 was, I believe it was 2004 was the Oprah couch jump.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, which I didn't have a problem with that. I guess I'm kind of a hopeless romantic, but I thought it was cute. I mean, I thought, oh, and it's not just I like Tom. I mean, I don't think I'd met, yeah, I definitely met Tom by then. But it's just like, wow, look, the dude's in love, man. Let him be in love. I mean, that's kind of crazy, right?
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I didn't think it was all that stupid. I really didn't. It was just like, that was like, whatever.
Right.
But when I went back and I was on the set of War of the Worlds for 4 days to observe, right? I was invited back there. And on one day when I know that Tom got up at 3 a.m. to do a sunrise shot, at the end of the night, 9 o'clock at night, I mean, this guy's been up for, you count the hours, right? They'd made some deal with the longshoremen, the union on the scenes that they did on the docks, that, they were going to let them watch the filming all day, which was really nice. That was part of the deal. But at the end of the day, Tom had all of 200 people, families, kids, observers who were, associated with the longshoremen's union, lined up on the dock, and he went down every single one. I counted them. There wasn't a billion. Okay. It was far less than that, but he went through every single one. He talked to them. He shook their hands. He hugged girls. He took their cell phones and did selfies. He talked to their friends on the telephone. I was like, this is a guy that actually knows that he's rich and powerful because of those people that really worship him. It's just so this week he was so far out of Miscavige's influence when I saw that happen. I think he could slip back into that person. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, I do.
But he's such a like a malleable personality, and he so reflects Miscavige. And he's got to pay some dues. He can afford it. Like I honestly think that if that reality distortion machine got turned off, he'd pick up a phone and he'd call his daughter, and he'd probably start apologizing. I mean, you know what I'm saying? So
yeah, I do. I get what you're saying. I do.
But I've been accused by somebody that of saying that Tom Cruise is a nice guy. I didn't say he was a nice guy in any of that, did I? I just want to go on the record as saying I didn't say he was a nice guy, but
no, I think he's absolutely taken over the Dave Miscavige persona
completely.
And if you remember, before he was really big in Scientology, or when he was borderline, he was known for doing things like stopping on the side of a road when there was an accident. To be clear, not doing Scientology, but he stayed with the lady that was in an accident until the ambulance arrived.
Yeah,
and then he found out what hospital she was going to, sent flowers, and called in to make sure she was okay. He used to do stuff like that.
Yeah, and he doesn't do that anymore. He also doesn't do dramatic films that he might win an Oscar for.
Yeah,
because Mr. So-and-so is now his career counselor. Well, I noticed one of your viewers, I don't remember which one, said something about, I don't want to blame Dave for everything because Tom is a grown-ass man. And there it is. Dastardly saboteur. I'm not down with blaming Miscavige for everything. Tom's a grown-ass man. Absolutely. Tom is 100% culpable for everything he's done in mirroring Miscavige. Yes, Miscavige is a puppet master, but Tom is a rich, powerful person and responsible for everything he does.
Yes.
So don't get confused. Don't confuse this with us making excuses for Tom, because he needs to do his shit. I mean, one of the crew on War of the Worlds told me that they were shooting out in Virginia, and they stopped at a Dairy Queen, and there was a basket on the counter, and they were soliciting money. One of the girls who worked there had a really bad car accident, wasn't able to pay her bills. So her high school friends who worked at the Dairy Queen put this basket out. Tom went in there, got whatever he got. He walked out, and somebody came in there and dropped a check for $10,000 in the basket. So, and nobody's watching. And it's not like he's like Miscavige, who would do that with a camera crew, right? And then make a documentary about it. But he used to do shit like that, like, as you say.
Yeah.
And he's not doing it anymore. And he doesn't do films that would, remember the films he used to do, the Oscar worthy.
Born on the 4th of July, etc. All right, we're going to fire through some of these. Rosemary Lamarty Athman. Hi, Sterling. Caught Finally caught you live somewhere. Yay. And hi, Mitch. Yeah.
Hi. Yeah.
Amanda Beaumont. Actually, I was the one that brought up Elf during a movie trivia. It was my fault. Thank you,
yeah. I remember now. Yeah, you're absolutely to blame, and
you're awesome for doing that.
Yeah, thank you for doing it. You've created something that's on its way to being a meme quickly.
The SB Chef comment. It's facilitating that Scientology clearly doesn't care about. I don't think facilitating was the correct word there. That Scientology clearly doesn't care about family, but expects all problems, flaps, and crimes to be handled as though we were family and try to clear it up in the family. I think you meant well. I don't know that you nailed it on that. I kind of got the gist of that. But yeah, what do you read from that one, Mitch?
It's fascinating that Scientology clearly doesn't give a shit about family, but expects all problems, flaps, and crimes to be handled as though they are the family and try to clear it up in the family. Yeah,
I get it now. Yeah, like keep it within the family. Don't give it to outside. Yeah, I agree. That is an anomaly. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, could you put up this one from Katie Pie? I just, sometimes I feel like I skim. It's at 9:44. Sometimes I feel like I skim the edge of sounding like an apologist for people.
Yeah.
When I'm just trying to bring more light to it. I 100% agree with you that Katie Pie said, you can be amazing at something. It doesn't mean you're a good person. Tom Cruise is a great example of this. I completely agree with that statement. Where he crosses over from being amazing and not being a good person is that he's allowed himself to be so influenced by Miscavige. Right. And that is definitely the product of not a nice person.
And there are nuances. And I think it's always important when describing something, because again, so we could sit here and within the framing of Scientology's horrible, just bash the crap out of everything and everybody related to it. But the nuances, the little parts that are important for the presentation and what you're talking about, I think are vital, because if you're just bashing every single thing and not mentioning that there are some people that have pluses, and Tom Cruise does have some pluses. If you do that, you're just doing what Scientology does. They can never acknowledge the good in anything. And there's even things about Scientology that have helped people.
Yeah.
It doesn't stop it from being a family ruining, human trafficking cult. It is. But it could not have existed this long if there was not some benefit to some people. That just has to be said when you are talking about it, when you are getting to the horrific crimes and the things that are done. And I believe that's just being honest about it and not directing everything within just your framework. You need to add the nuances so people who are new here can understand it. There's a lot of you that know these already, and you're like, okay, we know that. We don't need to bring it up, but that's true. But we also have some people that haven't been here before, and they need to hear those little nuances.
Yeah. No, you're so true. It's so well put.
Yeah.
Thanks for saying that. It's we can't ever forget that one of the Scientology, that it recruits people who are idealistic, or vulnerable, or both. And those. I'm not going to say anything else.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
All right. Power lies to paralyze. I agree with Sterling. OSA is staffed with vicious sociopaths, purely 1-1. So no, thank you for that comment. But no, I don't think every single person there is like that. I knew one individual in OSA, and I don't know how much of the external lines he was on, but genuinely one of the nicest people I've ever met. I don't believe he was doing the actions. He was another arm of OSA. Maybe he was doing printing, promotion, or something in OSA. But one of the nicest people I've ever met. So again, I don't think it is everyone, but I think there's quite a few of them in key positions. And to be honest, OSA was a very exclusive group. Not everyone got into OSA.
Right.
So you had
if you'd ever pleasured yourself in the shower, apparently they wouldn't take you.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So what kind of people never touched never pleasured themselves? You'd have to be pretty screwed up.
Yeah. Rune Skiviting. Skyting. I can't believe that dudes like Mark Yeager and Guillaume Laserve are evil. Now, this was at one point when we were discussing it. you're going to find a lot of different people with a lot of different opinions on those two individuals.
Yeah.
I would argue that of those two, Guillaume is the one that I found to be the most human, the most caring, and most rational.
Sure. Yeah, for
but
sure.
You could hear other people say the same about Mark Yeager. So do I think those two people are evil? I actually don't think they are evil. They've done evil things, but I don't think they're inherently evil. They are not in the same category as David Miscavige, Marty Rathbun, Mike Sutter, and Warren McShan, and people of those ilk. They are not in that category. And that's my opinion. That's my opinion.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Hey, hey, Sterling, real quick, can I
you have another quote, something you want to pull up?
Yeah. Oh, God damn it. I have to. This will just take a second. Okay. Nope, I can't do that right now.
Okay.
It's because I have a new computer. I don't have permission. No, I wanted to show you a picture I had of Mark Yeager and
of Guillaume. No problem.
No, and Jenny together.
Okay. But Atkins in Texas. My whole new view in life is boo managing people. So I say, yay, peacocks. Yes. Thank you so much.
That's funny. That's reaching back.
And the inappropriate heifer. I agree. Every time Mitch goes even like this, it gives you the thumbs up, which is kind of hilarious. I don't know how he has that turned on, but it is pretty fun. I don't know if you noticed that. There we go. No, that's a different one. Question, the SP chef. Does DM have a dog on every base? In St. Hill, he had a dog called Crumpet. I don't know, actually. I just knew the ones he had at Int.
He hates dogs. He hates everything. He hates people, animals, everything. He even hates Tom Cruise. He must have to, but whatever. But yeah, he's got these 5 beagles. Not why I have a beagle. He's got these 5 beagles of gold that were just the meanest dogs in the world. I mean, I didn't know dogs could be that mean. And
these are the ones that used to dress up, right?
One of them, one of them. There was like one that was the ringleader. Yeah,
that's funny because beagles are usually sweet-tempered dogs.
Yeah, any dog that you beat, any dog that you're mean to, any dog that you neglect or whatever. And plus, he had 5 of them, and apparently, when they're in a pack, it takes work to keep them. This is true with a lot of dogs. They'll start dog identifying instead of people identifying. So,
oh, interesting.
Yeah, they become like their own pack.
Rune Skysting. I'm going to say it different every single time. Ray Midoff and Mark Ingber are a whole different category. Now, I'm not totally clear. Now, are you saying that everyone has individual experience with those individuals? So,
yeah, I think Ray is 100% generally just an amazing, nice guy. And I think Mark Ingber was kind of twisted, not mean, but kind of dark inside. I didn't particularly care for him.
All right, this is a great one here. Gina M. Wendell Lockhart, our memories aren't always linear. My sister and I are only 18 months apart, and we remember certain things happening at completely different time periods. I agree. Constantly, my twin brother says that I did not beat him in basketball, football, and soccer, and I know that I crushed him every single time. So, I absolutely think that his memory is fallible. So yeah, I agree with you 100%.
My sister's only 18 months younger than me. It's like having what do they call them? Irish twins.
Yeah. Roar, thank you so much for the super chat. Mitch, what is your favorite memory from the 60s Hollywood in 30 seconds or less? I added 30 seconds or less part.
Yeah, but it would take me 5 minutes to come up with it. So I don't know. In the 60s, I mean, I was in 1960, I was 10, and in 1969, I was 19. So that's a big difference. I don't know the first time I got laid at the Renaissance Pleasure Fair, that was pretty big.
And that's his final answer. And that's his final answer, folks. Okay, here we go. Next one. Paula Dodge. Mitch, have you seen Aaron Sorkin's? I think Aaron Sorkin's a brilliant writer. I don't know what you think about that. The Trial of the Chicago 7. Great film about what happened. I think it's currently on Netflix.
I did. I think I watched it the day it came out. I am an Aaron Sorkin fan, and I was alive and very aware of while that was happening.
Awesome.
So I was definitely following the film. I highly recommend it. Although I will say, Aaron Sorkin, he one thing he's brilliant about is one thing I don't like, which is that he'll really bend and twist things for the sake of making the story better. Okay. Like the end of the Chicago 7. I know you need to go, so we're gonna.
No. I'm laughing because I've got this finger. I'm about to hit the next one because I think you're done, and I don't want to be rude, so I'm trying to time it right when you finish. And then right when I click it, you start again. So I'm just laughing at that. That's
I don't want to. This isn't a film segment, so we're not going to do that.
Yeah. Apostate Alex. I think it's their org that's empty. I think they just think it's their org that's empty. All others are booming. They're just doing something wrong. He's agreeing with what you said, Mitch.
Yeah,
I don't have any experience in a Class 5 org, but I
don't either. My experience was going into Class 5 orgs and having people, Sea Org members or staff members, call me sir, and how uncomfortable that was because I'm like, what the fuck, dude? You do not have to call me sir. Yes, sir.
Atkins in Texas, starring Sterling Tomkins as Sterling Tomkins.
Yeah, I think that would be the best. To just have you play yourself.
I just think that she's brilliant. I think she's brilliant, Atkins in Texas. You know,
say that way. Starring Sterling Tomkins. Yeah, absolutely. It's a great choice. I could teach you everything you need to know about acting in 5 minutes. It's
wonderful. I should do it. I should do it. Nomen Claris, Sterling, what was your role in the old orientation film? The wise beard with the monkey? I hope. Was there a wise beard with a monkey?
Yeah, don't you remember when I wrote about it in my book, Sterling? You need
I'm not up to that part. I said
you need to go back and find your misunderstood words. Because, no, there's this. It's one of the. It's I don't know, how do I say it? There's a bunch of fake posturing and orientation that is meant to associate Scientology as a religious, as a religious belief. Okay. And there's a scene in it where this kind of transparent God puts this monkey on a jungle floor, and the voiceover, the narration says something like, science never disproved God. It just said there isn't one. So,
okay.
Does that ring a bell? So,
it does ring a bell. But to answer the actual question, I was hallway guy number 6.
Yeah, you were a walker.
I was a walker. Yeah.
Yeah.
So as he was giving that oh so important speech about not jumping off a bridge,
you were trying to keep your shit together and listening to that crap.
And I was walking very intently, like a good little Scientologist. Yeah. Inappropriate heifer. Ryan Reynolds for Sterling for sure. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no, that would work. He's 10 times better looking.
He's 10 times better looking. He absolutely is.
No, absolutely. Sterling, you're very handsome. I'm just joking.
Question, Mitch, do you think that was just a put on, or does he genuinely care about non-Scientologists? This is Tom Cruise, and make it quick.
Go ahead.
Tom Cruise shaking people's hands, being very, gracious towards people, fans, set crew, etc.
I don't think it's put on at all, because there's two different things. The Dairy Queen story that I told you, the story that Sterling told you about him stopping in the accident and all that kind of stuff. Who was he trying to put on for? Like, he wasn't. There was nobody there. The thing with the accident, we heard it. It got reported. The thing in the Dairy Queen, nobody knew that. I mean, the girl that he put the 10 grand in didn't even, assumed it was him because he just left, but he didn't take any credit for it. So I don't think he's just putting on a show. Plus, I have to tell you, I spoke with a journalist recently that I'm going to be doing a TV journalist something with in the future. And she said, we were talking about Tom, and she's like, when he was here in my country, he was on a junket for some movie, and I was covering the premiere, and then we were at the premiere party. And then after the party, he saw that I was sitting alone. He waved to me to come to his table. He was all by himself. And I sat there and she said, for all the things they say about this guy, he's impossible not to like. So, Tom really is charismatic. So I just hope I didn't come off like a fanboy, but sure, she was a journalist and he wants to get good coverage, but
right. Right.
He doesn't have to worry about that. He's going to get good coverage no matter what, or he's going to cut them off. He's got all the power. So anyway, but again, let me just emphasize, he has crimes that he needs to be held culpable for. He can't, whatever.
Okay. No, I agree with you.
Just cut me off. You know what? Cut me off. You need to get this stuff, because that way you could just do that. And then I would shut up. You go, Mitch. Yeah.
Not my style. Not my style. Here we go. Freezy New Project of Farset comment. I think people can be good or bad, and there are many roads or paths they can take in between. It's almost like Scientology blocks all their good roads or paths. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
Statement.
Yeah.
I like
no,
that.
they can be good and bad. People can be both.
There we go.
Yeah.
D Jennings, say hello to your mother. She is amazing because she raised a son who speaks truth and peace. What a beautiful being to create Sterling. That's so sweet of you, but let's not forget, she also created my twin brother, Justin. So there's a balance there. Darth Vader, Luke Skywalker, you get the whole concept.
Yeah, we're not buying it. We know you love your brother, and let me second what they said, what D Jennings said about your mom. But I'm not buying the Justin thing. I didn't know your brother because he wasn't really much at Gold.
No, he wasn't good enough for film. He was more of a radio personality.
Yeah, but he was. Was he even at the base?
He was,
but not for very long.
No, he left in 2000, but he was there when he was on the Saturday Reynolds project to build the castle. Yeah.
Oh, I wonder why I don't remember him.
Because he's not that good looking.
I knew that was such a setup for you.
He looks like, you're just line him up, Mitch. I can knock him out of the park all night with Justin. And because he can't defend himself until he actually gets on here, so why not?
Yeah, fuck him. Yeah, totally.
Yeah. You were gonna say though.
Yeah, no,
how
many years was he at Gold? From when to when?
He was there. So I want to say 94, 95 because when I got married in 96, so he was there 97 to 2000, I think.
90s. Okay. So he was there. He was in my proximity for 3 years, and he was in
the film lab.
Really?
He was there. He was posted in the film lab. Yep.
I need to see a picture of him. I'll probably remember him because
Yeah, you might remember him. I don't think he was ever on a film though.
No, maybe an extra.
House. That's why OSA, CMO, CMO Int, etc. recruit such young kids. They haven't gotten to the exploration stage yet. That is correct.
Yeah, that's true.
I think that's very accurate.
They want them young. It's like the Nazis. They had the Lebensborn.
Yep.
Right. They wanted to breed them. They wanted to indoctrinate them. They wanted to, get them young before the world dumped its stink on them or whatever.
And I also at some point want to do a video about just the age in general of sea organization recruiting and how that was affected by the first generation, second generations, and how Scientology's recruiting pool dwindled so quickly. Their only option was to get the children of existing members because no one in their right mind was going to be joining it at any point through the late 90s and 2000s. And it's actually it'd be interesting to get the actual data on that and see when that predominantly changed and how that was affected. And I mean, today, are Scientologists still giving their kids up to go in the Sea Org? If they are, they're insane. Hopefully that's not the case, but I don't know for sure. Okay.
Yeah, that would. So I think what you're implying is that there was some kind of documentation or policy. I don't know. I mean, it might have just been sometimes out of necessity. Like nobody in the room needs to talk to each other because they're all under the same pressure.
Yeah.
So that so they don't really need to write anything down because you have obviously it's a real problem if kids don't finish high school. So why don't we stop recruiting kids that don't have a diploma? It's a real problem recruiting kids that are under 18. You have to get them caretakers and all that kind of stuff. So let's just stop doing that. I mean, I could see that evolving without anything ever being written down.
Yeah. And it could also be the other way around. They could still only be pulling from younger kids to recruit in there because they're more malleable, as Kay's in the house points out. I'd be interested to know what the
I don't know. I don't think they are anymore. I don't think they're doing anybody under 18 who doesn't have a high school diploma. I think they've just drawn a line because, it's too much trouble. It's like,
I know for a fact, Dave considered children a pain in the ass.
Total liability.
Did not like them.
I remember.
Did not like them. Yeah.
I remember when they started bringing the kids over from the ranch. Like you were the first wave, right?
Yeah.
And it was
second wave.
You were really the second wave. I thought you were the first wave. But
first wave was Nathaniel Epstein and Ottapa Willoughby, and then I was the second wave.
Oh, okay, cool. So it was like the really good ones were coming to gold. The rest of them were just going to send a flag, right? I mean, I think the fact that your mom was there. Was your mom that she was there when you came?
Yes. Yes, she was.
I think that probably had something to do with it, right?
Possibly.
Like kids who had, we don't even really know, do we?
No.
Because I mean, you would think that they would do that. Like, keep families together, but they don't give a shit about that.
No.
But I remember when it was happening, like, oh, the kids are now mature, and some of them are going to flag, and some of them are coming to gold, and it was just like he was just so relieved that they didn't have to deal with that.
What happened later on, as far as I knew, with the younger generation, not Justin, Mike Brown's, my generation,
like
is eventually
like Laura.
Yeah, like Laura, they disbanded the ranch altogether. And I may be wrong about this. Someone can correct me if they have better information than me. But it was David Miscavige that said, get them out of there. And he wanted all the kids from the ranch to be sent to Florida or LA to get them away from their parents at Golden Era Productions.
Oh, my God.
That was Dave Miscavige. He was like, get them out of here. But send them to Florida. I think the only ones that didn't go to Florida were the ones that were such troublemakers that they didn't qualify even to go to Florida. They got sent to PAC.
Yeah,
as far as I know.
Yeah. No, that makes sense because not that many kids showed up at Gold.
Yeah.
There was like you and how many others? 10 maybe?
Maybe 10, 15. And then
out of how many kids? Out of a whole bunch of kids. So I remember you were at Gold. I think the first time I ever went to the ranch, we were shooting. When did we shoot the Africa film the first time? I think it was 95.
Yeah.
What year did you come to Gold?
I came to Gold in 93, I believe.
Yeah. Okay. So you were already at Gold, but we went over there and started shooting, right? And when I would go over there, I'd always go say hi to the kids. And these kids, like Laura, I remember Laura. You ever see one of these pictures of these Doctors Without Borders, and they're like in Africa, and there's all these ethnic kids, the indigenous children are running up to them and hugging them. It would be like that. Like the ranch kids would come up to me, and they would all hug me, and I thought, Sterling, this breaks my heart. I thought, these kids, they're so, as we used to say, high ARC, right? They're, high affinity reality communication. They're so open and free and full of love. And then later, I realized they're so starved for any kind of contact with adults. That's why they were doing that. And it's like, whatever.
There wasn't. And again, a subject I might cover with Mike Brown. There wasn't a lot of warm people taking care of the children. And remember this, except for the exception of one person, which I believe was Yolanda Avila.
Oh yeah, I know Yolanda.
To the ranch.
Yeah, she's in the art.
She wasn't very warm, but she was brought there specifically to take care of children. Yeah. The rest of them were all people that had been thrown out of their current positions and sent there as a punishment to take care of the with which is never a good system or a good way to staff an organization with children.
You need your best people to handle
in the
house.
Kay's in the house for stimulating such a great conversation there. I appreciate your comment. Matt Elliott. Question. Come on, Sterling. How can you beat a Yeti? Oh, no, I destroy him. Actually, we play beach volleyball, and I have a partner who's a fantastic lady. And she's actually a volleyball coach. We beat Justin and his partner all the time, but Justin can't accept that I beat him. So he just always has to say it's because I'm playing with a coach and she's so good that's why we win. Which is not true.
Yeah. Back when I used to play tennis, I used to play with my boss, right?
Yeah.
And whenever I would beat him, he would say, this guy was an asshole. He would say, that was not my best game.
Just so you couldn't have it.
He could never say, hey, that was good. Yeah. You gave me a real run for my money. And it was just like, so yeah, I get it. So you're that guy, huh?
No. I'm actually gracious to some degree, except for my little brother who I can't stand losing to. I'm pretty gracious. I mean, if I got beat, I got beat. And if I beat myself, I get frustrated, but then I do go work on that specific thing right after.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
Though bad manners, bad etiquette while playing sports, that sets me off. Someone that delays the game or takes advantage of a weaker player in a certain way, that just so they can win the game to move on to the next round, that sort of gets me. I try to normally take the high road, but you know, it doesn't always work out. It's sports, guys. It's competition. Last one here, though. This is good. Fat Cat Heavens, thank you so much for the super chat. Is there a log somewhere of number of ESO who blew by ear? That would be fascinating. That would be fascinating. I wish we could find something like that, because I know.
Wouldn't you love to just look at a pie chart, or I mean, just a bar chart?
Yes.
Oh,
by year and the names. That would be so good.
Yeah,
that'd be so good. Hey guys, everyone that was here tonight, thank you so much. By the way,
wow,
I can't believe you sticking around. I was going to say we're only going to do an hour, but I know that that's one thing I can never be truthful about is the timing on these videos, because once you start talking, you can't stop.
Is that, are you talking about me?
Well, I was trying not to say it, but now you've pointed it yourself out on a live. Yes. No, I was not.
You were talking about you, right?
I was talking about me. For sure. For sure. Mitch, hey, so happy to have you on here again. Let's I'm not going to do a whole lot before the end of the year, but let's pick up Tuesday nights in January. And
whatever you want.
I would love to take up some really good subjects with you. It seems like we can have that discussion openly and actually, you know, bring up some good points and get the chat and everyone interested. So if you're up for it, we'll do it again.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm sure we could pick through this thing and find a bunch of stuff that we could have covered for another hour.
Absolutely. And if I don't see you again, Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
You too.
And Merry Christmas and Happy New Year's to everyone else if I don't see you again. I do think I'm going to be on at some point in the next day, or maybe we'll see. But
you will.
That, I'm gonna hit the outro. You guys ready for it? Here we go. It's not working. Here we go.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?